Guys, good morning. A short tutorial about strong body paragraphs for you today. Some of you are going to be starting off without anything other than your thesis statement, and that's okay. So what I want you to do is to look at that red highlighted portion from your edited introductory paragraph in your thesis statement. That's what you're going to be focusing your first body paragraph on. So, whatever that is, all of the evidence, all of the references in your first body paragraph should work on proving that claim in your thesis. So, if you have any information, any evidence, any sentences that don't apply to that first red highlighted topic, it's got to go. All right, it has to apply to proving that first part of your claim in your thesis statement. So here we have just a guide, all right, a 3-page guide. It looks like a lot, but it really isn't. The bulk of it here are just 2 examples that you could look back to see how this author implements its steps 1 through 7. All right, so let's get started off here. You're going to insert a topic sentence. This is very similar to how you introduced your introductory paragraph, all right? Kind of like a general statement, but this general statement, all right, this topic sentence has to connect to your thesis statement, that first point, all right? Do not repeat your first point, all right, but have some key words in it that allude to what you're connecting to. So you can see that here. Some questions you want to ask yourself whenever you are starting off the creation of your topic sentence for your first body paragraph. Why have you chosen to include the information you have? Why is the paragraph important in the context of your argument or thesis statement? More simply, what point are you trying to make? What are you trying to do here? Have your topic sentence really grab the reader's attention and connect back to that last sentence in your introductory paragraph. The more that you can go back to your thesis and remind the reader of what you're trying to say, the better off your argument's going to be. Now, don't be repetitive. Don't say the same thing over and over again, but there are different ways of saying the same thing, if that makes sense. All right. Like, for example, if I were writing a paper arguing about how, summertime is better than the wintertime, I'm not going to keep saying over and over again, well, the temperature's higher, the temperature's higher, the temperature's higher. I'm going to keep saying about how summer is better than winter by saying, well, the temperature is higher. Also, there's a higher average of sunnier days, which doesn't necessarily equate to temperature. There are more outdoor activities available for people during the summertime. It is easier to get together, which I understand the irony of that statement now, given the coronavirus outbreak. But whenever the summer does come, hopefully this thing is gone. All right. Anyways, that little digression there. Insert your topic sentence and read through this. I'm not going to read through all of this for you right now, but it's here for you. All right, explain your topic sentence. This is only if it needs further explanation, and you'll see some examples of that down below. Typically, you should be able to nail the topic sentence in one shot, in one sentence, because this is a 5-body paragraph. This isn't, like a 30-page dissertation. So you don't need typically to explain the topic sentence. All right, here's the thing. Introduce your evidence. Okay, whatever evidence, that minimum one piece of evidence that you're going to present to back up your claim, you have to introduce it. All right. What do we mean by introduce? Simply saying, according to the New York Times, or as Dr. Evans states in his article, The Educational Incentive Impact. That's introducing it, just giving a little credence or kind of a shout out to your source. Essentially, you are just going to get the reader prepped for who is saying it, instead of just dropping like a quote on them with no context. All right. If the reader doesn't know who's saying it, that immediately takes away from the credibility and the authority. So make sure that you have the evidence introduced. Tell the reader who the heck is saying it or where the heck it's coming from. Okay. So this is all here for you, introducing the evidence. That kind of breaks down how you can do that. All right. insert your evidence. So after you introduce it, you just insert it. It's the word for word. You copy and paste, put that stuff in quotations, and leave a page number, of course, or reference number, or wherever it's coming from. All right. Now, there are a couple different ways to do this. If you just introduce the author and you say in the article, and then you put the quote, you're going to want to put a page number. Or if you just say the article, then you want to put the author. If you are going to say the author, then you want to put the article in there. If you have a hard time with this, that's okay. We'll work through this in the editing process. Just make sure that in somehow, some way, you are introducing and then inserting the evidence. All right, now unpacking the evidence. So picture you bringing like a suitcase, and this is your evidence. You bring a suitcase and you explain what that suitcase is. Now you have to explain what it means and why it's important to your argument. So when you take that evidence that you've already inserted and that you've already introduced, you're going to connect the dots. So you're going to take what that evidence was saying and apply it to your argument directly. All right. So step 3, introduce. Step 4, literally insert it word for word. And then step 5 is going to be making the connections. You should not be making the connections for your evidence before the reader has had a chance to read that evidence and then explain. All right. No matter how good your evidence is, like, you have to assume that the reader doesn't connect the dots. All right. So ask yourself this question right here and then answer it in your paper. How does this evidence prove the point you are trying to make in this paragraph and or your paper as a whole? All right, this can be opinion-based and is often at least 1 to 3 sentences. I'm looking for 1 sentence, 2 if you need it. All right, but you're going to connect those dots. You are going to answer this question. How does this evidence prove the point you are trying to make? You could say something as, this shows that the evidence connects to the argument of improving test scores, or whatever the first point is in your thesis statement. All right, there you can be a little bit redundant. I'm okay with that, where you kind of connect it back verbatim. All right, and then a concluding sentence. This is one of the harder things to do because you not only are you wrapping up everything that you've said in this paragraph, but you're also making a bridge, a connection to the next paragraph. And if you're having a hard time with that, that's okay. Just really focus on wrapping up what you said, and then we will go ahead and try to figure out a way to like make that bridge, make that connection to your next body paragraph. Because just as your thesis has those 3 points, all right, and they're all inextricably connected, so are your body paragraphs. So we're going to find a way to connect that last piece that you just wrote about to your next piece. All right, so here's the thing for you. If you want to follow this right here, this is super helpful to recap. All right, do all of these steps. If you're able to check off each of these 7 steps for all of your body paragraphs as we move forward, you are going to be in good shape. All right, if you can honestly look at each of these and say, okay, I have that in my paragraph, I have done that, you're good. All right. If you are unsure as to whether or not you have unpacked your evidence in step 5, all right, or if you haven't really explained your evidence and answering that question, all right, how does this connect to my argument as a whole? Then go back here. All right, go back to these parts. And if you don't understand, get a hold of me. All right, come see me during that office hour time. Email me. Just whatever means you need to get a hold of me, use those means. And finally, here are a couple examples. So they give you the claim. All right, so they kind of give you a little bit of context in each one as to what the author is trying to write. All right, and their claim typically is in their thesis. So here's a challenge for you, just kind of a bonus exercise. See if you can find the points that the author is going to be making in these claims. and then look through the sample body paragraph, not expecting yours to be this long. Okay? Not expecting yours to be this long at all. This is, I wouldn't call it extra wordy, because this author does an excellent job of incorporating steps 1 through 7 in there. And you'll notice that there is no step 2, right? Because that's only if you need to explain it further. This author does enough in step 1 of introducing the topic sentence where it doesn't need further explanation. So they jump right into 3, which is introducing the evidence, inserting the evidence, unpacking the evidence, and explaining the evidence. Okay, that's how important your evidence is right here. It takes up about a third of your paragraph, but it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. All right. So if you guys have any other questions beyond that, let me know. I would be happy to answer any questions you have. Just shoot me an email and we will go from there. Cut. I haven't done this without the video portion before, but yeah, guys, take it easy. Hope all is well and stay safe out there.